Today's video is going to be a little sketchbook tour of this sketchbook right here. This is a Talon's art creation sketchbook. It's my first time using it. I tried it as an alternative to Moleskine, and I found it fairly decent quality. I did buy it again in a bigger size for my next sketchbook, so I'd say it's safe to say I liked it enough. I still have some pages left in this sketchbook. Not too many, but enough that it feels a little weird to leave it. However, it's gotten a bad vibe now, so I'm closing it up to move on to a more positive mindset in my next one. Because I had the realization the other day, I'm afraid to use my sketchbook because I don't want to make bad art and be upset by it. And because of that fear, I was never picking up my sketchbook, which just makes me think of this quote that's always stuck with me. I can't remember who said it. It's either Miyazaki or Kim Jung-gi. But it goes, "The worst type of sketchbook is an unused one." Sketchbooks are places that should encourage mistakes and bad art and be used for ideation, iteration, notes, plottings, doodles, and everything else. They're meant to be fun, and I had some fun in this, but not for a while, so we move on. But first I'll show you what's inside the sketchbook. So right off the bat, we have stickers on the front. We have the year. This one I grabbed from a free sticker bin at my library. I think these ones were off of Redbubble, I want to say. This was from a little local store downtown. Also don't know who made it. This was from Fan Expo a few years ago. I also don't know who made it, but I know that this is a very popular bear. And this one I actually made. It is Legolas in distress. So. And we also have this as a mini-me. I made this sticker as well. You can see I started it May 2025, finished April 2026, so just about a year. And this little pocket is actually, I transferred it to my new sketchbook already, so this is my next sketchbook. But at the front of my sketchbooks, I like to keep this little envelope that just has a whole bunch of ideas of things to draw, so I never run out of ideas. And then I also have sticky notes with like masters to study art challenges and stuff. So that's what was here, but is migrated now to my bigger sketchbook. So I started this sketchbook with a master study. I'll put her name on the screen, but it's Jane Pickart. When I do master studies, I take a lot of notes, so I do draw out their characters and try to see how they would draw it. There's some things you can't figure out until you actually try drawing it. So these are not mine. I drew them, but these are not my characters. These are Jane Pickart's. This was a master study. And like I said, it's a lot of notes. So credit where credit's due. And this is a continuation of her notes, along with some plottings. You're going to see a lot of notes in this and a lot of little thumbnails and doodles, because that's what this one was. Yeah, there was a lot of plottings for like portfolios and stuff in here that never came about. So more of her. And then just some notes on a graphic novel I read, and notes on trying to do the Spiderwick Chronicles art style with fountain pen. Let's see, I think this might actually be... There we go, that's a bit better. Sorry about that. Right, so Spiderwick Chronicles, I was doing a little study there. Then these are just some random doodles, and this is just tracing paper, because this one is in graphite pencil, and it was starting to show up over here, so I didn't want to ruin them, so I put tracing paper between them. I did try this like sealing wax thing later on. You'll see that. I'll explain when I get to it. I don't know if I used it right, kind of messed things up. Maybe I'll try again, but for now I use tracing paper, but I'd really love not to because it kind of annoys me. So we have these little guys. I love drawing in blue or pink pencil, so you'll see a lot of that. I apologize, it doesn't really show up well on camera sometimes. But we've got little doodles there. And the Very Hungry Caterpillar. I love this guy. Then we have a little drawing. I was testing out a fountain pen and an ink I just got to see if it was waterproof. So this is watercolor and ink. And this is when I started watching Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you can't tell, one of my favorite characters is Maki. So I had to do a little spread for him. This picture is up on my Instagram too. As you can see, maybe a little bit, I did in pink first underneath, and then I drew this marker over top. And then this is Copic markers. And then you can't really tell, but this is Chibi Studies. Chibi. Trying to learn how to draw them. Again, with the tracing paper, these are colored pencils. Photos I took of tomatoes that I grew in my garden last year. And these are, you're also going to see a lot of this, prompts for art challenges. I tried to write down a lot of ideas that I could use because I never want to run out of ideas. So this is for a Smogus prompt. I tried to break it down a little more manageable. I never ended up continuing it. These are some doodles of a character, little mouse character who really loves her turnips. And then trying out a different style variation. So originally I went with these, but then I went more kind of realistic, I'd say, but I actually don't know which one I like more. Just a page of random doodles that turned into this guy, which I used to have a video on Instagram for, but I took it down because I don't like it, which is a big problem. You'll see I don't like most of my art that I make, and I think it has a lot to do with the impacts of social media, how it impacts how we view our art, and how people are only showing the final products and only good progress shots and not all the bad stuff and hard times that art making can bring about. So I like to share my messy sketchbooks so people can see they don't always have to look pretty, like the CalArt sketchbooks, for example. Those are inspiring and amazing and great on those people. But I feel like it can also be a bit toxic to overconsume them, that type of art content that is, because you start to think that's the only acceptable type of sketchbook. That is what a sketchbook is meant to look like, and when it's not, then you feel really bad. But you have to remember that those sketchbooks, especially CalArt sketchbooks, they're heavily planned and tailored sketchbooks to get into art school. So this is some Witch Hat Atelier studies. Didn't do very good with the studies, but lots of notes, trying to configure things. This is like the one and only drawing I did for Smogus. It's a little dragon with a pencil sword. More style studies, trying to figure out a style of eyes I like to draw. You'll see a bit of that. I keep trying to find my style. I still haven't found it, but oh well. And this is when I started the 100 Heads challenge back in August last year. I started off really strong and then it went really bad really quick. But I really do love these three. Again, I really love drawing in colored pencils, specifically the Prismacolor Coal Erase pencils, which I'm so sad that they don't make them really anymore because I love them and every artist I know that uses them loves them. So this was some watercolor testing before I did a piece that is up in my portfolio on my website. This is also some watercolor pages for testing out for another illustration, which is also on my website. It's a little girl. You can also see it on my Instagram too. But it's a little girl walking, and then there is a parade of little misfits behind her too. But there's a lot of swatches. I kind of really like when there's just swatches everywhere. Let me do just a random bird, some more portfolio thumbnails. Continued here, which I still want to make this one day. There's a lot of thumbnails in here that I want to make one day, but we'll see. This was testing out some watercolor techniques, which I continued over here, a bit more expansive. And then these were the thumbnail plans for a piece I have on Instagram. It's on my wall right now, so I can't show it, but it is horse parade for Chinese New Year. And there's some more plottings for it here and watercolor testings. And like I said, more prompts. So this is for one that I came up myself called Anthro April. So you do anthropomorphic animals for the whole month of April. More drawing ideas and more. And then this was me testing out salt with watercolor. Kind of worked, kind of not, but I take that in here. And this was some more 100 heads. You can barely see them, but I like this one the most. And more 100 heads. Messing up a lot and getting very angry at it. But then I made this one, so. The whole point of like making messy art is to get all the bad art out so that you can make good art. Again, more 100 heads. I like this page a lot more. This one is supposed to be Aaron Taylor Johnson from a movie he was in. I think it's Anna Karenina, but I don't know if it looks like him. And then a page of 100 heads I didn't really like, and then I had to say how much I don't understand. I can go from drawing this guy, which I really liked, to then 2 minutes later drawing this one. Like, what the heck is happening here? I don't understand. I still don't understand, but I guess you have to draw a lot to get out the quote-unquote bad art before you can make good art, because there's like that whole thing. That's the whole point of 100 heads, actually, is it's supposedly for every 100 drawings you do, or for every 100 bad drawings you do, you'll get one good drawing, and then the more you practice, the smaller that becomes. Which is why I think, personally, I don't know if it's true, but that's why I think there's the 100 heads, 100 hands, all of that challenge. So, some more, how to do a Tom Taylor, because Nightwing. More trying to figure out eyes. I have a lot of trouble with eyes, so you'll see me trying to figure it out a lot. More 100 heads. More watercolor testings. I just love this page. It's not a proper illustration, but there's something about all the swatches and little notes that's just satisfying to look at. And then these are some Kim Jun-ji study notes that I transferred from an old sketchbook, and little sticky notes of things to sketch. And then this I actually turned into a keychain. This I actually turned into a keychain here. Just for me. It's not up on a shop. I mean, it could be on a shop if somebody wants it, but just a little link keychain. You'll see I do sticky notes everywhere. This is just a random page of notes and doodles. More plottings and swatches and sticky notes. These are some pieces from a very old sketchbook. Actually, not even a sketchbook. I drew these on printer paper. These are drawings for a manga character I have, so I was trying to figure out their hairstyle and kind of their vibe. And then same with over here. I just pasted them in. Then this is more thumbnailings for portfolio pieces for a video game idea I have, which also continues here, which you can see me make my notes on how they should be positioned better. It'll be digital whenever I do that. So, Patreon banner stuff for whenever I do make a Patreon, which I would love to. Okay, here we go. So first of all, this is Yuto Sano style study, but this is where I tried that wax seal, and there's not supposed to be all these lines across the dog. These lines are actually from the words over here, so I don't know if I'm supposed to do both sides with the wax seal and then it works, or if it's just a messed up thing. But yeah, it also yellowed the page a bit, and it kind of smudged the drawing when I put it on. So if anyone has any suggestions for how to not make graphite and colored pencil and all that stuff smear on the other page, that'd be great. But moving on, this is Yuto Sano, taking lots of notes, trying to draw. And then more, I'm reading the Goku Rakugai series, and it is great. And these are just some more random doodles from Pinterest. A tomato, a red pepper, a man. These are more doodles for another piece for my portfolio up on my website, which I expanded on a bit more over here. You'll see that a lot, reiterating stuff. Like I said, sketchbooks should be for iteration, ideation, literally anything. And then we get to where I started to hate using my sketchbook. Well, actually, most of this I wasn't very happy using it, which is sad, but we're gonna move forward in the next one. But these are some ideas for some prints. This one you probably can barely see, but we're just gonna skip past that. This one I was trying to draw Ariete from the Studio Ghibli film. And then this, I want to turn into a print. I actually hate this red fish, so I took it digitally and I cut it out, and then I flipped this guy the other direction so that those two are facing the right direction and that one's the other way. One day I'll make it into a print, and then I kind of want to make them into stickers as well. Then this is a print idea for Ariete, and this is more manga character plotting and more prompts of things to draw. More prompts to draw and more 100 heads. I think this is the last 100 heads I have done. So I stopped at 24 back in February. But I do really like how it turned out. And then this is when I wanted to do graphic design for a hot minute and then decided, no, I hate graphic design. I'd much rather be an illustrator. So this was me plotting things out. There's a lot of random notes and scribbles. I do still want to create some of these someday, but more in an illustrative sense and less of a graphic design sense. And then this was more illustration plotting, so this one I want to do one day. This is a kid for a picture book idea with a whole bunch of dragons coming out of the mailbox. This is a more style studies, so I don't know how to pronounce their name, but I'm going to put it on screen. I love their art. I love everything they do, and I just want, oh, it's just such a gorgeous style. So I tried to do a style study of them, and then I also started a style study for Mithers, but I did it immediately after this one, and I was running out of steam, so there's really only this and this one here. And then again, tried to do some chibi stuff, and I was really running out of steam here. This is also sketching for something on my portfolio. A lot of this book is portfolio stuff. And empty pages. And a wee bit more portfolio stuff. And this, I think, is the last page. Yes, this is the last page. I like to test materials on the very back so I see what bleeds through and what doesn't. But yeah, there's a few pages left, but I am never going to finish it. So this is my sketchbook tour. My goals moving forward are to heal my relationship with art and make bad art on purpose. You only learn from trying, after all, and trying means stumbling until you can walk and walking until you can run. And sometimes you have to double back or take a pause, but you'll never get anywhere if you don't try and make mistakes. So, in my next sketchbook, I have failure is not real if experience is the goal. Just gotta take that off. So this is my next sketchbook. I'll zoom out for you. This is my next sketchbook. This is also a Talons art creation, just a lot bigger. I've already started it. As you can see, I transferred these guys over. I started it with some My Hero Academia fan art. So we've got Bakugo and Deku. This is up on my Instagram as well. Goals for my sketchbook. And then we've got Shinzo and Uraraka. And then this guy that I drew the other day. But that's about it in this. So my goal in this sketchbook, like I said, is to make a lot of bad art. Because mistakes are lessons and happy accidents on the road to success. So for that reason, this sketchbook is bad art. This sketchbook is dedicated to bad art. I want to make bad art on purpose in this sketchbook. And I encourage you to do the same in your own sketchbooks. So I hope you liked this little sketchbook tour. One day I'll do the big one, but I don't know how long that's going to take me. But for now, you got to see a little peek inside of this one. Lots of ideation, lots of random stuff, but yeah, sketchbooks don't have to be pretty and perfect like we see everywhere on social media. So go make some bad art and use your sketchbook.